This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Julie Noble, and this is the October 13th, 2020 meeting of the Kingston Conservation Advisory Council. We have with us several members of the council, Emily Hauser, Kevin McAvoy, and Sebastian Pelletieri, along with myself. And we also have our Common Council liaison, Michelle Hirsch. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So we do have quorum, so we're going to proceed. We don't have any guests, so we will move to modifications to the agenda. Are there any modifications to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to approval of the September 2020 minutes. Lorraine did call in sick, but she did send some, or at least one comment. Kevin, did you get that comment in the email from her? Yes? Okay, great. Also, I had three brief things in the email, or in the minutes. One is under 4, old business, wood smoke, about halfway down, there's a line that the sentence starts, Lorraine praised the Sustainable Hudson Valley Clean Energy Initiative. Oh no, sorry, the line before that. Where is it?
Just before that, okay.
The chairperson discussed the September 2nd in the Kingston Times on air quality. It should say September 2nd article.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's just, yeah, okay, can do. And I'll add Lorraine's and whatever else you have.
Okay, the following sentence, Lorraine praised the Sustainable Hudson Valley Clean Energy Initiatives, but pointed out the inconsistency of showing wood as a renewable resource with respect to Marbletown.
Okay. Okay, got it.
And then under old business number 3, Esopus Creek, the second to last sentence, It says there will be a Zoom call on September 17th at noon on the Esopus Creek. Felt like a weird sentence to me.
Oh, it sounds like we're on the Esopus Creek. How about concerning the Esopus Creek or regarding? Yep. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds like we're taking kayaks out and having a meeting. Yeah.
Although we would all do that and would love to, we're not. Yeah. Okay, that's my comments. You have Lorraine's. Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns with the minutes from September? Not, I need a motion to accept the amended September 8th, 2020 minutes. Emily, can I get a second?
Second.
Sebastian, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Kevin, for putting that together. So, update on wood smoke air quality subcommittee. Lorraine did send me some notes that I'll read just to give an update. So she wanted to report that the WAMC aired the report about the Kingston Air Quality Initiative with BARD, and I can send you the link. Actually, I'll put it in the chat. So she was able to get interviewed, and then they aired it, so that's fun. You can take a look at that. Another recent story on WAMC regarding clear cutting in Massachusetts forests for the last several years in order to fuel biomass plants. And an organization called Mass Forest Watch, whose director, Chris Matera, spoke not only about the damage to the environment from cutting acres of trees, but also about the pollution released when wood is burned. And she included a link, which I'm actually going to send you all of this. Did she send this to everybody or just me? Just me?
I don't think I got it.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you now. I'm going to send it.
Yeah.
So you have the links.
I'll need it for the minutes.
Yep. Okay. She included a link there. The Stanford Woods Institute for the Environment did a story on the wildfires on the West Coast and outlined the health implications of breathing wood smoke, as wildfire smoke is composed of 80% PM 2.5. She included a link that Kevin could put in the notes. Local health providers are also recognizing the connections between PM 2.5 pollution and health. Specifically, the Hurley Avenue Family Medicine practice is informing patients of how even small decreases in PM 2.5 pollution lead to far fewer heart attacks and deaths. and she sent a link to that as well. She gave me a reminder to add the mission statement to the air quality website, and she sent me the final mission statement. And she also said that there is an upcoming meeting plan with the BARD team regarding the data being collected. And on that topic, I will just mention, we are focusing on looking at the data in terms of seeing if there's any trend resulting from the California wildfires. So we have the data from Kingston since January, and BARD is currently looking to see if from the summer, like leading up to the summer and then the summer and now, if there's any noticeable difference in our air quality that we can link to something like the wildfire. So I haven't seen that data yet. And discussing this with the team, we're going to likely publish this information and go out to the public with whatever we find. It'll be a different message if we do or we don't find a link to the wildfires, but we're still kind of plugging away at the data. Also, we got an indication, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, hey Betta, that we did not receive the NYSERDA grant that we applied for. So we're still proceeding, and BARD is still committed to working with the city. It just won't be as robust of a funded program with as many air quality monitors as we had wanted, but we now have a great grant that's written that can be applied in other other opportunities. So that's where that project is. That's the update that I have, and Lorraine's information. Sebastian?
I just have a question. You mentioned that there might be influence from the California wildfires. Is there any way, just thinking about this is going to be used to inform local ordinances within Kingston, if they have any way of understanding where pollution is coming from in terms of surrounding towns or the rest of the county?
Right now, it's very challenging because there isn't a location that we can find that has like really consistent data that's like human pedestrian level. So that's why this is really important to BARD to kind of get this thing started. And that's one of the reasons why what we're doing is we're also simultaneously keeping a log of current events or things that we're aware of. So like as local as when Monkey Joe Roaster Company roasts, which may or may not have an impact, to when one of us sees or smells smoke, to what the wind was like on a current day, to what other communities are reporting. So and then looking back at spikes in data to see, was that a day that there were fireworks and did that have an impact? Was that a day where there was whatever, environmental, cultural, whatever kind of impact, and then looking for those trends. But we have to have a larger data set to really understand what we're even looking at yet. So we're still gathering. And we do have it at several locations. We have this new blip also, which is like, so we're collecting data at my house and Lorraine's house and inside and outside, multiple inside and outside locations around the city. And so we have a different year also, right? So what would have been a traditional year, we now have or had fewer cars on the road and now more cars on the road. What was not a lot of people in their homes, now more people in their homes or fewer people in their offices. So like there's all these different things to weigh out. So the more data we have, the better we can see those kind of trends. I mean, like school, we had this original premise that there would be in Kingston, like in Midtown where I'm here, this blip in the morning when everyone was going to high school, and then kind of a lull, and then a blip when everyone was leaving high school, like all the cars moving. But we've only been collecting since January, and school's been out since March. So like these kind of things, we need more data. So, all right, anything else on that? So moving on to NRI and open space plan project. My understanding, Michelle, you can jump in here if you know differently, is that on the 21st at 6, there's going to be a public hearing for the open space plan, and then following that, it will be on the laws and rules agenda, where it will be voted on, and then it will go to the November council meeting.
That is my understanding, correct.
Okay, very good. So I did get word from the land trust that they're certainly interested in participating in the public hearing. They reached out to me to understand if there was any, if I felt like there was any risk of there being pushed back or this not moving through. I don't think that there is any. I think this is just a technicality that this is going through this process. So people are certainly welcome to go and participate in the public hearing, but I don't think we need to bring out people in droves to do so. I think that there's already support. So that's where that process is. Emily, did you have something? You're muted.
Can you tell us how to participate? The one time I tried to participate, I was just on a phone and I couldn't talk.
I'm going to defer to Michelle on that.
Hi. So Emily, you'll have to email Elisa Tinti and sign up, and she'll have your name prior to the hearing, and then she will call on Andrea or whomever, Jeffrey, that's running the meeting, will call your name to speak.
But the one time I didn't give them my name, but I only could watch Facebook and listen on the phone, and they weren't synced. The Facebook was later than the phone.
Right, yeah.
And is that what they would be doing?
Yeah, so
again?
originally what was happening was it was just people could only call in and listen, and then they started also doing a live stream, so they're not necessarily supposed to be linked to listen and watch at the same time. It's sort of like one or the other. So I would just recommend focusing more on what's happening on the phone.
Yeah, but then
Definitely
you
not a
don't even
perfect
know who's
system.
talking. Okay.
So anyone who's interested in speaking on the 21st at 6, you can, prior to, right before that meeting, give her enough time. You can email Elisa Tinti, and it's emtinti@kingston-ny.gov. Okay, anything else on that? Esopus Creek. Anyone have an update on the Esopus Creek debris dams? I mean, large log dams, large wood dams.
I've spoken to Greg Shaheen at length on the different put in and take out areas. We had discussed seed shed on Main Street, Hurley, as a place where you could put in, where I think people have been doing that. And then I discussed at length with Mary McNamara, Glenary Falls. That's once you start that discussion, it tends to go on for quite a while. And she had looked at a property on the Plattekill close above the falls, where, well, the Plattekill would be above the falls, as a possible put in the town of Saugerties. But getting through Glenary seems to present obstacles.
Sure. Sebastian, you have any updates? No, okay. Is this something we want to continue? Go ahead, Emily.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to let you know that Toby Carey's putting out a film, and he's a local filmmaker. He's done things like on the Ashokan, and it's actually supposedly came out yesterday. And anyway, so it goes all the way from the headwaters to the Hudson. Well, it's called the headwaters to the Hudson, the Esopus Creek. So I just thought people might want to take a look at that, and I'll put it in the chat.
Great, thank you. Should we still continue to track this, or is this relevant on our agendas continuously, just as an update? Do we want to follow it offline if it's relevant to us? I mean, we're not making any decisions collectively as a CAC on it.
Yeah, no, I think it might come up if they want to try to get a Kingston a Kingston launch, although it seems like having one so close in the town of Ulster, it's not that necessary.
Okay. Kevin, do you think we should keep adding it to the agenda just for updates, or do you think I should just wait until there's something necessary to decide on?
Well, I think for the moment we could leave it. You know, if there's no update next month, then, you know, we'll, you know, think about it.
Okay. All right, anything else on that? Any updates on pedestrian street work? No? Okay.
No, sorry.
Okay. Green amendment resolution. Again, I'll call to Michelle, but I believe my understanding is that this passed through committee and the council. And then, great. And
Yeah,
it has,
I don't know why it went to public safety and not laws and rules, but it went to public safety and it did pass, and then it passed the full council.
excellent. Thank you. And my understanding is from the clerk is that it has been sent to the state and the assembly. So
Great.
great work, everyone. I will pass that message on to the person who asked me, who suggested doing this from an organization that I cannot remember currently, or the name.
I actually am a member or on the organizing committee of Local Progress New York, and one of our meetings too, they came and spoke about it. And when I mentioned that we were working on it, they said that they, you know, had been in touch with you.
Oh, so they know it.
Yeah.
Great, perfect, because you now know who I was talking to and I can't remember. So,
I have it written down somewhere.
okay, fantastic. Great, so that was great work. And the adopted resolution is on the city's website if you look up under the resolutions that were adopted in October. So that is good and done. Community Preservation Fund, I actually haven't made any headway on that. I don't know if anyone else has. I do plan to speak with Emily Flynn on regrouping on where we're going to move to. I did talk to the mayor about whether or not he wants to continue to progress with this next year, and he said yes. So I guess there is that headway, is that we do have to go to move forward with this next year. So between now and then, it's about pulling this all together, and hopefully we'll have some partnership in the land trust to do that. I don't know if that would be the case or not, but hopefully we would. And next is just to put together a strategy.
Yeah, I attended the EMC meeting, and Jen Metzger was on the call. She was our guest speaker, and she was one of the persons that passed that law that allows us to do the community preservation. So she was interested in seeing who was working on that besides New Paltz. And I wasn't able to express that we were looking into it just because of the way the meeting was handled, but she is interested, and of course I assume it's coming up on the New Paltz. They'll vote on it in November, so it'll be interesting to, and I've heard the real estate people are not happy about it, but that was just casual comment by someone.
The real estate community in New Paltz or in general?
Yes, in New Paltz, yes.
But you think because the real estate market is booming and that has an impact on it?
You would think, I don't know, you would think that, you know, it makes our community stronger to have open space and that kind of thing. But they always want, you know, they don't want to cede any possibility of selling land, I guess, or making it harder. So I don't know. It is interesting because the real estate boom. Yeah, it's too bad we don't already have it, huh? So.
Yeah.
Question?
I was gonna say there might be like one lesson learned too. I know in New Paltz, I think it's like over $250,000, but I think 250. Maybe there's a way to. This is just like a footnote of like trying to structure it so that it doesn't hit people who I think are trying to buy like their first home that might come in with that price range, and maybe there'd be a way to, at least for Kingston, to bump that up to something a little bit more, so it impacts kind of the wealthier residents as opposed to the people who are kind of just trying to get a foothold in. I don't know the average home value in Kingston, but like maybe double that or something, just so that we're making sure that
Mhm.
we're not pricing people out of a home.
I think it's 238,000 according to the New York Times or Washington Post or Kingston.
38, which I feel like is kind of right in that range of what people are buying in terms of like first homes, and an extra couple of $1,000s could be a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Sure. Okay. Good food for thought. We'll keep an eye on the election to see how New Paltz fares with their vote. I haven't been following it, admittedly. So we'll see. Okay. Any other old business then? Then moving on to new business, New York Stream Protection Act. Emily?
Okay, thank you. So this came up also at the EMC meeting when Jen Metzger was on the call, and the idea is that there's a bill that is taking streams are classified in like A, B, C, and so on. And right now, Class C streams are not protected the same way as A, B. And even there's a CT, which is trout, classified C trout, and so on. So the Assembly and the Senate felt that it was really important to add this to the DEC, to the protection of waters for the state of New York, and but there's concern that the governor is not going to pass it. So I think so there's interest in asking the governor to pass it. And if you might have gotten emails from environmental advocates or Riverkeeper encouraging people to write these kind of letters. The EMC is drafting one, and so I thought I would bring it up to the CAC. And it's a very short amendment. They basically just take the law and they list all the ABCs, ABC, and they just add C to it. So it's a very simple change to the law. The thing that will impact them is that what this means is that the streams will be regulated in the sense that if they do anything to the better banks, if a property owner wants to do anything to the better banks, they'll need a permit. And so there is concern that there's not enough staff to carry this out. And I sent the letter out and I already drafted the letter. So I guess, and I can show that letter to you if there's that possibility to show it, or Julie could show it. But in Kingston specifically, the Roundout Creek is a Class C and is not protected, and the Twopskill is not protected. The Esopus is protected. Yeah, so that's the map, and it's really hard to see in that, but my letter, I clipped it out to show that. So the yellow right in the center, that's our boundary. That's the Esopus or the Roundout. It's a terrible map in the sense that it has such big fat lines. The gray is the municipal boundary. The yellow at the very right, there's a little bit of the mouth of the Hudson that's protected. Then the roundout goes up and upstream, and it's all yellow. Then that going up is the Topskill, and I actually haven't taken the time to figure out what these other streams are. But just pointing out that the Esopus Creek, which is our upper northwest boundary, is already protected. And so anyway, the point is do you want to send a letter to the governor? So do you have any questions?
I just have maybe a thought to add to the letter, which
Before
is
we
that.
talk about the letter, let's decide whether or not the CAC wants to send a letter. And so I need a motion to,
Motion to send letter.
what letter, Bella? Yes, the letter to,
Of the Stream Protection Act or whatever it's called.
yes. Okay, can I get a second?
A second.
Kevin, all in favor?
I
Okay, so then go ahead, Sebastian. Thank you, Emily, for drafting the letter.
Yeah, thank you, Emily, for drafting the letter. I would just add, I think that the Twaffskill and that section of the Rondout are part of the drinking water supply for Port Ewan, I think, or the town of Esopus. I can't remember what they're actually called.
Town of Esopus.
Town of Esopus.
Yeah, I didn't say that in the sense that their water plant is on the Hudson, and of course we're shooting sewage effluent out before the water that's on the Twaffskill and the Roundout get to their water. So I realized that that is their drinking water supply.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I did want to note that I took the letter from both Riverkeeper and environmental advocates, but that as you can see, I added information from the open space and the NRI.
Mm-hmm.
If you can figure out where to say that.
Yeah, maybe I think you described the uses of the water body, and maybe in that area, because I think that you could make the case there, I think is really important, which is that it's a key tie-in for the local economy.
Mm-hmm.
And just that also, ensuring that there's some protections for these streams that are also drinking water sources is probably good for the economy, because drinking water.
Yeah.
So I can add
And by
that
the
if you
way,
want.
it is the town of Esopus, but I think the water is for Port Ewan.
Okay, well, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
Sebastian, do you want to make the modifications and send that over? Is that a yes?
Yeah, I can do that.
Any other? Go ahead.
Oh, the other thing was I couldn't find in my hurry, I couldn't find where the map that shows that the Roundout is a migratory stream, and I think that was from the habitat summary. And I just didn't have time, but if you okay it, then we can add that.
What's the timeline on this?
He has, I think, till December 31st to act, and if he doesn't, then it's a veto. And I now am getting notes. I'm getting notifications about the status of it. So,
and then you don't want to include this map, right? Because it's weird, even though it's seemingly effective once it's described.
I mean, I could add I could add like an arrow to it to say this is the Roundout and the Twaffskill. I didn't have time to do that.
I
Because
think
there's also no there's not really, well, I
Key.
put in a key, but
I mean, I think that if we can figure out how to make this understandable, it's valuable, because one of our entire boundary lines is bound by a stream that's not protected. So
Right.
it clearly has direct impact on us, which shows the relevance of why we're doing this. So if there's a way to, like, at
well, there's
least,
two ways to do it. There's one is to ask Amanda to do do one just for us. And because Amanda Laval did the whole map, and she could just give me, you know, something that had finer lines or something, or we could, you know, I could add arrows to it.
I would go with plan A. Ask her if she can do it.
Okay.
And if she
Okay.
can't, label them. And if she doesn't have the time or inclination, then plan B is add your own.
Okay.
So then Sebastian,
So then, would the idea be then that we just work as fast as we can, and then are you okay sending it out?
I'm fine sending it out.
Okay.
We should figure out a date that we want to do it by, though.
Okay, and then my other question would be, I put in our senator and our assemblyman, and did you want to send it to anyone else? CC anyone else?
What about Basil?
Well, that would be an idea.
I mean, this is directed
Yeah,
to,
Basil Segos.
Sebastian, can you add that to the bottom, please? Since
Send
you're
it
gonna,
out.
you're gonna work with the most relevant copy.
Emily, are you okay if I do this in Google Doc?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Awesome. Are there any other comments on the language or the content or the map or the principle of it?
Oh, and then if I had time, we could put a screenshot of the tributary, the migratory streams from the habitat map.
Okay. So when do we want to set a date? Or just do it? And when it gets done, it's done?
Well, it's up to Amanda really, because, you know, we could get it done tonight if we weren't waiting for a better map.
Okay, why don't we check back in a week and see how the response is? Does that
Okay.
work?
Yep. And it is kind of weird too, because the Hudson, I didn't say anything about the blue along the Hudson, because it's you see how it's like dashed.
Meaning because it's cut off? Like the Dutchess County?
Yeah, it wasn't. Anyway, we could do our homework on that.
All right. Any other discussion on this?
One question.
Okay.
Maybe simple. Basil Sagos' email is just Basil Sagos, DEC.
It should be, yeah. It's just basil.sagos@dec.ny.gov.
Okay.
Also, I think we need a return address. I didn't put that in.
Okay. Sebastian, can you get that from the somewhere?
You could just tell it's the return address. The
Or-
address.
It's in here,
Mhm.
420 Broadway.
Return
Julie.
email address or
420 Broadway.
physical address?
420 Broadway, yeah.
Kingston CAC, 420
420
Broadway.
Conway?
Broadway.
Broadway.
City Hall.
All right, anything else on this?
No.
Excellent, great work. Let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you, everyone, for doing that. All right, any communications that we haven't discussed already?
Yeah, I was just going, is communications the same as announcements?
No.
Okay.
So no communications. Are there any announcements or events?
I did let you know about the Doug Ptolemy talk, and apparently he talked in Woodstock last week or so, and he's talking tomorrow, I guess Wednesday, at Pace University. And Doug Ptolemy's from the University of Delaware, and he's been around a really long, for me, he's been around a couple, I would say 2 decades at least. And his idea is that we need to plant native plants everywhere, because that's why our pollinators are dying and our birds and so on, because we don't have the native plants that actually help that host the bugs that are eaten by the birds. And he's a really good speaker. And so I said, you know, if you can, I can also send you the link to the recording for Woodstock. Woodstock's doing a lot of work with pollinator gardens, and so they're having some good talks also. But anyway, so I encourage you, and I can figure out how to put that in the.
Is there anything that we can do to promote pollinators in Kingston? Like any kind of educational campaign or some kind of incentive, or get little signs that people could stick outside their, you know, gardens saying pollinator friendly, or, you know, something like that. Does seem like something that people could get excited about and would want more information on, and a good thing for us to do.
I know I've always wanted to do this, but we're kind of a policy, not like a get out there and do stuff. And because there are other groups that could do it also. Woodstock is just saying if you just put in a 10 by 10 pollinator garden, but everyone does it, and they're providing signs. And there's also a monarch friendly, you can become monarch friendly. There's many things that we can do. We just need to have the right forum to do it.
Yeah, I don't think that would be inappropriate to give to Climate Smart. I mean, I could put it on this month's agenda because it's a programmatic board, and there could be people that are interested, like the education committee of Climate Smart might be interested in working on that.
I mean, I don't see how it really relates to climate change, but I hear you that it is more of an activity for that group. But I don't know, maybe it's something for next year for this group to think about.
Yeah, and there is a pollinator garden. Wait, maybe at Forsyth Park, right? Or is that a phenology? There's a pollinator garden. Yeah, it is really important, and people are really into it in many places.
Okay, so are you saying you don't want me to put it on the Climate Smart agenda?
I mean, you could. I'm just saying it doesn't really have anything to do with climate change, as far as I know.
I think we did put it in the climate action plan, the first climate action plan. I think we did put that in because it's kind of about tree planting and making sure you put in the native trees, because it's not just native plants or flowers and stuff, but it's trees also. So I wouldn't mind thinking about it in January, but putting it on Climate Smart, we can always together. It's also the tree commission could be involved.
Yeah, since you're not on Climate Smart, Emily, maybe we should mention it at the meeting and see if anyone's interested in working on it, and then plan a meeting in like January for a cross panel, cross committee, subcommittee to dive into this and bring in the tree people and
whoever else might be interested. And guys, I'm so sorry, but I screwed up and committed to give a presentation. I thought it was Thursday. There was a miscommunication. I don't know whose fault it was, but we'll say it was mine. And so I'm supposed to be giving a presentation to Pauling Library virtually, of course, in like a minute. So I'm gonna have to go, but I'm sorry. But I am interested in the pollinator thing. So Julie, apologies.
Sorry.
Text me if you need me to, chime in about for a quorum or something.
I think we're good. No more voting.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, and I put the link to the Woodstock Doug Talamy presentation that was last week.
Thank you.
Right.
Any other announcements or events? Okay, we don't have Lauren here for a complete streets update. Anything from planning board, Kevin?
There are a couple of things coming up. One of them is they're going to, review the proposed zoning changes from R1 and whatever other commercial and office use is at Lawton Park, as well as the Golden Hill zoning. And I did look at R6 and what that entails, and that led to some eye strain. I had to look at the bulk resolutions, the really fine print, and that gets very technical. So I don't know if we really want to go dive into the weeds on that right now, but that'll be continued at the planning board at the next meeting. I saw that Charles Blakeman has something coming up, which he's looking at doing something at the Noah Hotel site, the former meatpacking plant parcel. Yeah, it's a memo, and Scott Dutton is the architect because it's in the historic district, and Scott Dutton, that's what he's well versed in that. And there was one other thing I think we had on the planning board. Let me go back to their agenda, have a quick peek here, and so there's zoning, Blakeman. Oh, Montrepose is back with drainage this time.
I was going to ask you about that, if what you knew.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. This is the first I've seen of it. Let me see. There is a document. Let's find it. Hopefully it's they had the agenda posted, but I hadn't seen the full board packet until today. So this looks like an EAF for drainage, and I guess that refers to that water course that's on site. Let's see, everything's checked off there, an area. A bunch of photos. No cover letter though, is there? No. Just the EAF. Site cleaning, protection against vandalism, and runoff control within boundaries of private property. That's the description.
Yeah, I got
and it's under new business, so they have to make a secret determination. This will be back for at another meeting.
Yeah,
I think that covers everything. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I didn't receive. They sent me the agenda, but they didn't send me a copy of the application or anything. So I'm gonna get a copy from them.
Yeah, they may have just posted this. Because that's all I had too. I downloaded it a while back. Yeah.
I only received it today, and they're saying public comment needs to be in by Friday.
You can download it on the
It's up now.
It's
okay.
Up. Yeah, that's up. I was just reading from the EAF, so yeah, it's up.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I think that's it for planning board for the moment.
Thanks, Kevin. Public safety, Michelle, anything that we need to know or communicate?
Stop signs, the trail dedication to Sergeant Johnson on the rail trail was this past Friday. And
Great.
the passing of the Green Amendment.
Excellent. Okay, very good. Zoning, any updates, Kevin?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we just covered the Lawton Park thing, and that gets us into some serious weeds trying to figure out what you can actually build there. I mean, there's lot limitations, and there's also I would think from our perspective, from the CAC, if we were to comment on this when at the appropriate time, we'd want to see it clustered. You know, make sure that the development is clustered, that they don't just sprawl all over the place, and in Lawton Park. And that may be less of a concern up at the jail site, the former jail site. I haven't examined that as carefully as Lawton Park, but that would be my suggestion. Would be to follow the Hudsonia and Hudson River Estuary Program biodiversity training principles of develop close to the road, try not to destroy the habitat, and try to preserve as much of Lawton Park as you can. And the rail trail runs through it, and that would be something else that should be considered. Regarding the urban ag zoning, I've been attending the Grow Well subcommittee of Live Well Kingston, and I brought up to them the discussions that I had with Michelle about the possibility of changing one particular section of the zoning, which is, I think the one section covers the 5-acre limitation, which is what they're interested in at Grow Well, trying to modify that to legalize urban farming, and as well as a chicken concern that had come up, that to see and that met with a favorable response from them. But how that would be worded, I believe there may have been some issues at building safety, code enforcement on chickens, and I think my recollection serves me, that came up here many years ago at the CAC. Yeah. So it may be revisited. So.
Okay, and that's going through Grow Well?
That's going through Grow Well at the moment, yes.
Okay.
Kevin, I heard that, I'm sorry, I heard that the building department did send something into Laws and Rules about the chickens.
Okay, I'll look for that and see if they posted it yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
Sebastian?
I just have a question. I don't know anything about this. Lawton Park, is that a city-owned property, or was that like an actual park? No.
Or it used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a deaccession park with a reverter provision, and it was an active park, and there was a given back to the previous owner, the Lawton family, in the 1960s, around the same time as urban renewal.
It's off of the boulevard.
That opens up. Yeah, the 61 comprehensive plan did not call for it to be abandoned. That was just something that happened. There was some vandalism there, and I believe there was a fire in one of the pavilions, and it was decided it was more trouble than it was worth. And it went to the Lawton family and went through several hands, and now it's being discussed for rezoning.
Wow.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Kevin. Climate Smart update.
I just wanted to ask, so are we supposed to be watching the urban ag too, or it's in Grow Well? Or
It's actually become part of Grow Well. It's called Grow Well, which is part of Live Well Kingston. That's kind of what the group decided. But
I mean, I guess if it's covered in our open space plan, is there an opportunity for us to send information in, just like the building department is sending stuff in about chickens?
Oh, you mean send it to Emily Flynn?
I don't know. I'm still trying to understand what you're talking about, but I just wanted to know if there's any action at some point that we should be taking in collaboration or.
Are you
Well, I think
specifically thinking about
once
urban
there's
ag,
an act, yeah, go ahead.
I think it would be urban ag, but it could be Lawton Park. I don't know. You're talking about two different things, right? Are they all
Yeah,
zoning?
yeah.
Okay.
They're all zoning, but they're two separate issues. Urban ag,
Yeah.
is a provision of the zoning that limits farming to farming and anything related to agriculture to 5 acres, 5-acre parcels, and so it could be considered illegal, like the Y farm. Yeah, so that's to legalize farming. The other one at Lawton Park is a rezoning for affordable housing or workforce housing, and the same at Golden Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Hill involves both the
Yeah.
city and
Okay.
the county. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just have to watch these, and I mean, we know where all the 5-acre parcels are, right, from our open space plan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we know how few there are and that kind of thing. And
Exactly.
Okay. Climate smart. I can't remember.
I have the minutes out. Do you want me to run through it quickly?
Sure.
Um,
While Kevin is doing that, I will give people an update that having a kickoff of my climate action plan project advisory committee this week. So that's moving forward.
cool.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things that we had discussed was the climate action plan. I think we didn't have a date yet at that point. So yeah, now we have one. We moved on to refrigerants, discussed that, and there was to be a meeting in October on the refrigerant inventory. And John Wackman also discussed issues with legacy R22 refrigerant equipment, which is, there's a lot of that, including on city property. Julie ran us through a series of city sustainability projects, which maybe, Julie, if you want to do that, or if you want me to just read from what I have here, I don't know.
Just a few briefly. As I mentioned, the climate action plan is moving forward starting on Thursday with the project advisory committee. Parks projects are moving very swiftly, so you'll see just in the next week, Barman Park is going to have changes, Raquel Knox Park is going to have changes, Hasbrook Park is going to have changes, Kingston Point ADA project is complete, so the ramp to the bathroom is complete. The Wi-Fi is being installed in the parks as we speak. Multiple projects happening simultaneously. Our open space plan is being drafted as we over the next month or so. Carla Castillo and I are working closely on that draft. And
I think you misspoke. I'm sorry, I think you misspoke. You said open space plan.
Organics diversion plan. You're right, I misspoke. The organics diversion.
That's what I thought.
As of last Thursday, there were 110 streetlights left to be retrofitted out of 2,474. There's only fewer than 110 left. And that is as close as we've been ever. So that's very exciting. And also a quick update. There's going to be some personnel changes in my small office of 2. Sean Coster is no longer going to be with the city after Friday. He is taking another job, another location. And so we will be refilling that position, I hope. That's probably a good update for now.
When are you expecting to get the food organics diversion? Is it a plan?
It's a plan, it's a strategy, it's a plan, yes. I was hoping to have it done in October. For the same setback reasons that everyone else is having, it's going to take longer than that. But I still hope to have it done by the end of this year.
Okay, I'll continue. John Wackman is releasing a book entitled Repair Revolution, How Our Fixers Are Transforming Our Throwaway Culture. I think it's coming out shortly in October, like the end of October. And there were numerous places where you could get it, but I didn't put that in the minutes because I didn't want to advocate for any particular venue. But it is available. If you just look for it, John Wackman, Repair Revolution, you'll find it fast enough. And you'll see where you can buy it if you're interested. Let me see where else we went to here. Betta, you're gone, right? Betta's gone. Yeah, she reported on the Empower Kingston's Green Job Program, which kicked off in September, and that was a 4-week program, and I think that's probably just about finished. So, but we would probably need Betta for an update on that. I don't have anything further. And then we went through some zoning updates, which we covered here earlier. And then, let's see, we went through the Sustainable Hudson Valley Live Green Group Purchase Program. And a couple of the commissioners discussed heat pump installations and that there were rebates but no tax credits at this time. And the last thing I think we discussed was community solar. And that was Cal Truman had discussed a bit about using existing infrastructure as a good option during the pandemic. And John Wackman gave us a list of numerous companies that are active in the market. So I think that covers us for, I think, oh, no, one last thing. The Transportation Climate Initiative. Betta had brought this up, and we did pass a resolution in favor of endorsing a letter of support for the New York State Transportation Climate Initiative. I don't think I have a copy of the letter in front of me to read, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Emily, anything else from the EMC besides what we already talked about? You're muted.
Again, we heard from Jen Metzger. She talked about a lot of things, but not, and including, you know, she's tracking a lot of things. It's really nice to have so many good people in the Senate, I think, in my opinion. And, you know, she's also tracking refrigerants and the Community Leadership Act, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, rather, sorry. And then from Amanda Laval, one of the interests, the UCAT garage roof is going to have solar on it. They're getting electric buses, so they're trying to figure out how they can get charging stations for electric buses. They did have a drive electric event in Kingston, and they said it really went well because it was, they normally put it in the county, the county building right there, the county courthouse. And since the farmers market is there, they really felt like it was perfect because they had so many walk-bys, and they engaged a lot more people than when it's in a separate location. We should also still be watching for the draft environmental impact statement for the Lower Esopus water release. And I wanted to say that one thing that we thought was distressing is that the Gardner Environmental Commission has been put on pause, and apparently they only have 3 members, and they had passed the community choice aggregation program in March, and then it looks like they just really haven't done anything. They were going to start on their natural resources inventory, I think. But anyway, so people are concerned, but hopefully, so if you know anyone in Gardner that you could encourage to join the Environmental Conservation Commission, yeah, you could do that. And then the Water Quality Coordinating Committee, I actually should do that in announcements because it isn't part of the EMC, it's separate. And I am on that committee, and it involves, so we're having a meeting on Monday, October 19th at 1:30, and it is going to be presentations from the DEC on water protection and so on. And it's the last public meeting we meet about every 2 months, and the last public meeting was in March. And so they're trying to have the 6-month public meeting. So if anyone's interested in attending that at 1:30 on Monday, please let me know, because then you can ask Amanda Laval, because she's the manager of the Zoom. And that group is fairly, it's kind of it's only started up recently, so they're still trying to find their niche. The people, there's like New York City water supply people that are on it, Cornell Cooperative Extension, and Soil and Water. And trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to mention. No, but that's on Monday.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Tree Commission. I attended the Tree Commission meeting today, and also last month it had been delayed because they didn't have quorum. So I've been to 2 since the last meeting. Quite a few trees being taken down around town, precautionary. Big storm that we just had this last weekend, big storm, trees came down as well. But one of the big things they were talking about today was planning for the trees that will be replaced and installed, planted on Franklin Street. So the city has a grant to redesign Franklin Street, and it's likely going to be, well, it's a street and sidewalk pedestrian accessibility plan, and it's going to have removing some of the old trees but putting in dozens of new trees, and so the Tree Commission is going through right now their recommendations for what they would like to see there. Just an update on the trees along Green Hill Avenue as well, if you've been sort of following that process. The Empire State Trail goes down Green Hill, and between Barman Park and East Square, there is an off-road separated bi-directional bike lane. And on both sides of that, trees were planted as part of the project, but it was determined by the contractor that they were put in to the wrong caliper, meaning the wrong size, And so the trees that were the wrong size were removed. And so you'll see fewer trees than you saw if you went by when it was first put in. And so there are some trees there, but new trees that are of the correct caliper diameter are going to be planted this year. So more trees than we see now will be put back in along Greenfield Avenue. Also starting tomorrow, just a couple tree updates that the tree commission has weighed in on. Raquel Knox, we're taking down a few big nuisance trees that are leaning over the park. That's down on Gill Street. We're doing a big project there. But also related to Greenkill Avenue, there's a row of trees and vegetation between Barman Park and the Metro building. And that entire fence row and vegetation is going to be removed starting tomorrow. So that's per a resolution that the council passed with the city and REPCO to remove that fence and vegetation. So we are obliging, and you'll see that project happening tomorrow if you are up near Greenkill Avenue. So that's currently what's going on with trees. Tree Commission meets again on November 10th.
Okay.
Any other reports or updates? Okay, our next meeting is set for November 10th also. Is everyone, do I have enough people for quorum? It is the day before a holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It makes it kind of a 3-day long weekend. You could make a really good long weekend out of it. I plan to be here, and we could take bets on whether or not the election's going to be decided by a week later.
So we've got two so far. Sebastian, are you going to be there here?
I think so. What's happening that weekend? I don't see anything on the calendar.
It's Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is the 11th.
It's 11th, 11/11.
Oh, I think, yeah, I don't, where am I going to go?
I was just saying, if you are a pre-holiday night before kind of celebrator, and you celebrate Veterans Day in advance the night before.
Just, yeah, go hard for Veterans Day. Yeah, no, I'll be here.
Okay. So that's at least 4 of us. All right, so that will be quorum.
And Julie, so you know, the council moved the council meeting to the 10th because usually it would be the first Tuesday, and then so it's election day.
Oh, yeah.
So we moved it by a week.
Okay. Do you think I should move this meeting because of that?
No, I'm just thinking that I may have to like cut out early, so just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Is there any other business? If not, motion to adjourn.
A motion.
Motion. Okay. Second.
Kevin? All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.